All right, Audrius, thank you for joining me today on the BrainGrid Builder story. We're excited to hear about you and what you've been building. So to kick it off, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how long you've been writing software for and what you're building.
My name is Audris. I'm building an app called Deep Focus. Uh, so I don't have an engineering background. I'm not an IT engineer. I have marketing background. I was learning a bit of coding, Python, HTML, CSS, but just the basics. I can read the code, but I would not be able to write anything. So in 2025, when all the AI first started a bit earlier, but in 2025, I went deeply into AI and all the automations and vibe coding, and I understood that as fun as it sounds like chatting with the AI bots, I need to write requirements, and that's what I learned in my previous corporate background that when I was talking with IT guys and they were always saying this requirements, and we need good requirements. And that's when I started looking for solutions. And BrainGrid popped up, and I did not think too much. I knew that this is a good product. I tried it, I liked it, and I'm using still today.
Very good. And have you launched your product yet?
Well, it's live. I have some final touches. I have some bugs that are not working, but it's almost at the launch stage. So yeah, almost at the launch stage. But it's live.
Oh, very good. Maybe later on, if we have a chance and you want to show it, that would be great to see where you're at, if that would be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, so you're not a developer. You come from the marketing side and you've had this idea. How long has this idea been in your head for building deep focus?
So so deep focus is basically a timer which you can sync with a calendar. You can share it, and you have analytics. So it's nothing fancy. This idea is already, yeah, I see lots of apps, timers, but as a test drive with the vibe coding, I thought I will build a tool for myself. So the idea was always in my head. Just I saw the right tools, and I thought, okay, let's do that. And when I started building, and it sounds like a simple timer, but those not stages, but yeah, I don't recall how it's called, but like it, if you reload the timer, it starts over again. If you open a new browser tab, it starts over again. If you close it, open. So I did not imagine that a simple timer had so many those this particular things like
Mhm.
uh, so that's when I got lost, and that's when BrainGrid actually helped me to define requirements. And one of the first tasks where like I need those sessions continue when I open, close, or open a new browser tab, or even if I use my phone. So
Mhm.
now everything is like the state is the same on all the devices, all the browsers. So it was a huge headache, like reloading and it starts over again. Very simple function, but headache.
Headache. And so
Yeah.
BrainGrid helps you sort of figure out how to implement that, work through the sort of edge cases, and then you're able to get that implemented and have it work across browsers, devices, pretty much anything, and the state synchronized.
Yeah, exactly. And the questions when I give the idea. So basically, the way I'm working, I'm using Gemini.
Hmm.
I put I dictate to Gemini, and then I put it into BrainGrid, and then I get those follow-up questions. So those follow-up questions, it's a gold mine because other tools like Cursor I was using, like now I think they have those questions, but still the planning mode is not so in such a state as BrainGrid. So I love that I got those questions, and then okay, so I did not think about that, and that's where your product helped me a lot.
Very good. That's great to hear. And could you describe what's your developer setup look like?
So previously, I was using Lovable,
Hmm.
switched to Cursor. I was using Cursor for a long time, but then the costs were piling up. Now my setup is I use Code.
Hmm.
So today I was pushing requirements to BrainGrid, and then I do development on Google Anti-Gravity because I have a plan with Google. That's why it's a bit lousy tool at the moment, but comparing to Cursor, but that's the setup I have at the moment. So anti-gravity, Claude Code, and then BrainGrid, and I'm using some basic MCPs. So nothing fancy, and Gemini, yeah, on the side when to ask questions to clarify things.
Got it. Got it. Now, are you using the BrainGrid MCP or the BrainGrid CLI?
MCP.
MCP. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you want to show us your app?
Yeah, let's do that. I was fixing it while we do you want to see like developer view or the actual app which is now live?
Yeah, let's see the actual app. I think that'd be
Okay.
great.
Set to share the screen. Mhm. So at the moment, I'm finalizing the front page. I have all the content hubs, stuff like that. So you sign in with Google. That was also very helpful from BrainGrid, those requirements. So let's say I use that account. For now. So yeah, it's just basic front page. You start a timer. You have some stats, activity heat map. So once you start a timer, you have a quote. You can change the way it looks. And if you go back to dashboard, you have some additional settings, like if you want to share the session. So you have some stats about the session, who is joining. This is the link, and then you have some activity. And there is also a page, just the templates. If you want a quick and easy template, you just select the time, goal, and start the focus session, or you can select a custom timer and start a focus session. So one of the features I'm having is that you sync. Well, this is what I'm trying to fix at the moment.
Okay.
Uh, some hiccups, but essentially it syncs your calendar. And at the moment, while the session is running, I cannot start a session. But if I, let's say, close the session and I go to calendar, I can choose any event and it's already pre-configured with the time slot. So I can say, okay, let's do, this is the call. I can select and I have I have the timer ticking. So the thing is that once you end the timer, if the timer ends, you can sync it with your calendar, uh, the same bug, and you can sync it with your calendar, and it generates a secondary calendar in your Google. So you have your main calendar, it's untouchable, you cannot edit, do any changes, and then you have a secondary calendar which uh, shows you how much work you are doing. And apart from calendar sync, you have analytics dashboard, the focus hours, distribution sessions, stuff like that. What's the basic stuff, and some settings. So my goal is to fix calendar syncing issues and yeah, I will start promoting it.
Very good. And so how would you use BrainGrid to fix that bug that you were just talking about?
So I'm not sure if I will be using BrainGrid for that bug. Maybe it's a uh, simple thing that I can just take console logs and paste into one of the tools.
Hmm.
But maybe a question for you: how would you use it if you had this bug with the BrainGrid? How would you approach it? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I would do exactly what you're talking about. So I would take maybe the console logs and I would start a new requirement. I would paste those console logs in there, and then I would describe the uh, the bug and what's breaking, and then I would let BrainGrid use those logs in the context to go through the code to figure out what's happening and what's breaking
Mhm.
there, and see what questions it comes back with, and then what its recommendations are for fixing that.
Okay, yeah, then I think I will do that because I was trying and Google was not able to fix it. So
Yeah.
after the recording, I will do that.
Yeah, typically what I will do is I will take logs if I have them, or I'll take screenshots. So if the screenshot is more descriptive, um, and maybe articulates what's breaking better, I will attach a screenshot to that, and then essentially in the prompt that I'm giving to BrainGrid, explain what's happening, explain that it can look at the screenshot to see where something is broken or is not making sense, or to use the logs, and then let BrainGrid go through the code and inspect the code base and hopefully come up with a solution to how to fix this.
Mm. Last time I checked, maybe it was months ago, but the images, when I was pasting images into the chat, it was not breaking, but stopped responding. There was an issue with images, at least when I checked. So maybe it's fixed now, but yeah, I was pasting images and then something stopped. Then I was going to Gemini pasting images, and Gemini was giving the description and then pasting. So yeah, lots of pasting,
Yeah.
but I'll do the image, yeah, after the call as
Yeah,
well.
that should be fixed now. I know I've spent a lot of time on fixing the images over the last couple of months, and if it was 2 months ago, they were definitely broken. So
Yeah.
we weren't fully supporting that, but those all should be fully supported now. So I know that I use that, especially if I'm fixing UI issues and not happy with the way something looks. I will do that. Oops. Sorry, 1 second. All right, there we go. Hopefully that didn't come through. I forgot to mute myself. Anyways, no, that's great to hear. No, this really looks like the application has come together. It looks very professional, and definitely excited to see you launch that and start promoting it.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well. So it took me 3 months, maybe.
Mhm.
I got into the scope creep, like all the features. Now I want to do that and that. Uh, Essentially, I wanted a simple timer, but then I thought, how can I differentiate myself? And then I thought, okay, so syncing with Google Calendar and actually seeing those things in the Google Calendar.
Yeah, that's a nice integration, and I know those integrations aren't always easy. Um, where do you see, like, what's your long-term vision for the app?
So difficult to tell because the unless it gets traction, it's difficult to predict something. Yeah.
Yep.
So the next stage is, well, that's where I accelerate marketing. So I will do the marketing stuff, and I already see a couple of people visit the website with the longer sessions. So I think with the proper SEO, AOE, that answer engine optimization, and going into TikTok and social channels, and also uh, I saw that for people with ADHD, it's difficult to concentrate and stick to the task. So I have those ICP customer profiles segmented, and I will do the yeah marketing stuff. And long term, essentially. I would like to scale to a certain degree, and then maybe to sell it and to move to another thing. Or I will keep it as a side hustle, side gig.
That makes sense. And then since you don't have a an engineering background, what are you learning by using BrainGrid?
Uh, so the clarity, the flows, how to describe, yeah, how to describe things, and well, what I read, uh, I don't read lots of AI stuff, but I read plans. So I
Mhm.
read almost all the BrainGrid plans. So it gives me that understanding how the structure, how one, let's say, module affects the other one. Uh, Still, it's just beginners well, like a hunch, but I'm already getting the feeling for
Mhm.
what is needed. So yeah, I'm reading and I'm understanding how it works, the engineering things.
So it's giving you insight into how software can be built,
Yeah, and how to talk with
how
software.
to talk with software. Yeah, how to talk in that lingo or that language.
Yeah, those the way I was talking, it was like I want this and this, but lots of unanswered questions with my wishes. So
Okay.
now I understand that uh, well, shit in, shit out. So
Yep.
yeah, so what you give is what you get. Yeah, that's a big revelation.
No, that makes a lot of sense. If there was one feature that you wish BrainGrid had that we don't have today, obviously, what would that be?
Mm. Uh, so I saw it. You can write, you can refine. I haven't used refinements
Mhm.
a lot. I documented my app, but yeah, I do the scanning analysis of the app. Uh, so I was missing pictures a lot. Uh, so if it's fits now, so it's a nice feature. Uh, Difficult to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, if you you know, if you see something that is missing or you gosh, I really wish it would do that, like we'd love to hear that. We're always trying to roll out new features and functionality, but it's great to see what you've been able to build in such a short amount of time and really deliver something that you know you're going to put out there to for public consumption.
Yeah, I'm happy as well. Yeah, I could not do that without good requirements and brain grit in this case.
That's great to hear. Well, Audris, I really appreciate your time today and showing us what you've built and how you've been using BrainGrid. And look forward to when you launch this completely and then start doing the marketing and obviously wish you the best of luck for to get some users on there.
Last question.
Hmm.
So you gave me advice to for bugs to use like screenshots and put bugs into brain grid. How are you using brain grid yourself? Any of, workflows you are using? I would like to get some inspiration from you and knowledge if possible.
Yeah, so when we've got something we're going to build, you know, typically a new feature, we'll go in and start writing, you know, through the same flow you're going through of saying, hey, I want to write a new feature or create a new requirement. We'll create that requirement and then obviously read through the document that comes with that. Typically, we will focus heavily on the acceptance criteria and make sure that it's fully fleshed out the acceptance criteria for what it is that we want to build. And then we will either break that down into tasks, which sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We're sort of experimenting back and forth of how much we need to do that. And then I will hop over, once I've done that and it's in a good place, I'll hop over to Claude Code. And then using either the MCP or the CLI, I will use the build command. I'll say, okay, build, you know, rec 123, um, commit after all tasks are complete. Make sure you update the tasks inside of BrainGrid. You know, create a new branch, sort of whatever additional intent I want there. and then basically hit return and go. And then I typically will go over into another window and start on something else, and I'll let that continue until it's finished. And then once it's
Mm,
finished and all the tests are passing, create that PR. And then we use Gemini code review. And so once that's turned into a PR, I will then pull down the comments from the Gemini code review and make sure that if there's anything that's been pointed out that maybe Claude missed or there's some bugs that maybe it created that it somehow missed when it was doing its code, and then I'll do a secondary round of review on that using the Gemini code review. And then once I'm
mm,
done with that, I will then merge that into dev and then start my testing.
okay. Okay. So we are using Gemini as a checkup layer.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a secondary layer in there that does additional code reviews. There's also some plugins that you can use now from Anthropic that I sometimes use as well for doing additional code reviews, security reviews, different things like that.
Mhm, got it. I'll try that as well.
Yeah. So we'll typically play different models against each other so we can see if they uncover something that was maybe missed by Claude or is not quite correct.
Hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, but that, I mean that's I use BrainGrid to build BrainGrid, so I'm in there doing the exact same thing you're doing. And if there's a bug that comes up, I will typically sit down and provide information to that of here's what's going on and I need to fix this and go from there. And that'll take that requirement and then feed it back through Claude.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I use
Yeah, you
Claude
have to.
Code. Claude Code is
Yeah,
my
Claude Code. Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Claude Code
it's
with Opus 4.5 I've found to be probably the best model out there today.
that's what I'm finding as well. It's very aggressive. It does more even than you ask,
Yep.
but in a good way. Other models, yeah, Gemini totally flops when I tried, and GPT, I use GPT codecs for some of the tasks, but
Yep.
those very simple tasks like uh, running scripts, but Claude Code is, yeah, by far the best. And I was thinking about Kimi too, but yeah, China, I don't want to touch China. So, but I heard like good reviews about it, and it's very high in the benchmarks. So,
Yeah, it's extremely fast, but I think in terms of overall skill level, I guess is if skill level is the right way to look at it, but its ability to write correct code the first time, Opus 4.5 to me so far has been the best. Um, and then one thing that we found is we've looked at, some of the planning modes that you get coming out of Claude Code, and they do a decent job, but I've typically found that does a more comprehensive specification requirement. And when I look at when it breaks down the tasks, we've actually had Claude Code take a requirement, break it into tasks, then save each task that it has back into BrainGrid. And they're they're very light. Let's just put it that way. And
yeah.
maybe that's fine for Claude Code, but what we've found is it doesn't give you the opportunity to review as much to understand what it's building. And so you do have to you rely heavily on what the model is going to do versus being able to change it, sort of before you actually have it write code.
Hmm. One thing since this week I'm doing, Claude Code has this ask user for ask user questions tool, and basically when you give a task feature, you ask to write requirements, and I'm saying ask user questions. You go Google on Claude, it will be,
Hmm.
and it asks you questions, more detailed questions, maybe 6 or 7 questions, and then I'm pushing to BrainGrid. So Claude Code also can ask those questions, but again, those questions are not as detailed and maybe not deep as BrainGrid, what I noticed. Uh, so try that as well if you
Okay.
haven't.
Yeah, no, I'll have to give that a try. No, that's good to hear. We put a lot of time into definitely into the questions. We want those questions to be not only technical, but also play the role of a product manager as the product manager is thinking through how the user is going to actually use that feature. And so it's sort of a hybrid of both technical as well as sort of the PM role.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it from my side. No questions,
Perfect.
and thank you for taking time
Yeah, thank you
and
very much, and I
chatting.
appreciate you doing this. This has been very good. So it's exciting to see what you're building.
Yeah. Uh, and likewise on your side with BrainGrid.
Thank you. Thank you.